You must be wondering, who am I and what am I doing blindfolded? This is not a prank, nor are you being punk. You can either walk away or close your screens entirely, or you could stay. It's totally your decision. Now, if you decide to stay, you want questions answered. Is this the hide and seek game where you get to shout, "Ready or not, here I come"? Or is it the bird box challenge where you get to stay blindfolded so that you don't see the monster and go crazy? Now, if you stayed, you want to know what this is all about. Hopefully, you're still watching and you decide to stay and made the authentic decision. Yes, I am Victoria Cunanan from class 1974, and I'm here to talk to you about the lost art of communication. You may have read books about the art of conversations, how to make small talk, and currently very much available podcast, TED Talks about the lost art of conversations. Now you might ask, why conversations? Well, we are at a stage in our lives where we dismiss conversations in lieu of phone apps. Swipe left or swipe right. Gizmos and gadgets, touch screens all day. We are in front of screens, TV, phones, computers. We push the panic button when we cannot find our gadgets and devices. According to new research, people check their phones an average once every 12 minutes, burying their heads with their phones 80 times a day. So are we in trouble that we do not know how to talk to each other anymore? Have we lost the ability to talk to each other? Lost art of conversation, or do we even bother with small talk? Technology plays a significant role in our lives today, keeps us all connected, in ways even more connected now than we have been before. There have never been more ways for people to communicate. Pick up your smartphones and you quickly see why. You have WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, Twitter, Viber, and Telegram, all designed to do what a mobile phone was built to do in the first place. We text, we post, and chat. Then there is social media, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, and lately TikTok. For video calling, there's Skype, FaceTime, Slack, Zoom, WebEx, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, and all this before we even mention email exchange. Our primary concept and academic interests are the relationships between humans and machines or gadgets. So relevant today that we feel so alone when in fact we are working, studying, or even walking together, but less from each other because we explore our reliance on devices that can isolate us under the auspices of connection. So what happens if we forget to have a good, decent conversation? We can't remember because we are living in a generation where we prefer to text each other rather than calling. If we are glued to our phones, computers, and screens and gadgets, we become one-dimensional. We are likely to be anxiety-ridden, cranky, and unreasonable. We always push the panic button. We forget how it feels to need someone to talk to and easy to become remotely inaccessible and distant. It's easy to become isolated. What is the work of conversations? Conversation is constant in our lives. We are talking all the time via text, posts, and chats. We begin to feel at home in the world of our screens among family, friends, colleagues. We turn to our phones instead of each other. We would rather send an electronic message or mail than commit face-to-face meeting or simply a telephone call. These days, we find ways around conversation. We find it easy to be online at our leisure. It is easy to compose, edit, improve, or revise. We turn to our phones when we get bored because we have become accustomed to a constant feed of information, connection, and entertainment. At a class, church, or business meeting, we pay interest to what interests us, and when we don't find it, we look to our devices to find something that does. This is called fubbing. We can maintain eye contact while texting. It all adds up to a flight from conversation. When was the last time you had a proper conversation, not over phones and computers, but a face-to-face, two-way exchange about something meaningful? We go out for dinner and bury our heads in our smartphones instead of talking. Even if we end up talking, our conversations skim just the surface of everything. Our devices are creating a world in which true conversation is rare. A conversation is based on physical presence rooted in feeling. All our senses are involved. We are engaging in social harmony and mindfulness. We consider how others feel. Good conversation is knowing what to accept and what to reject. Conversation requires undivided attention to another person or group of people, staying engaged when things get a bit boring, and working through the unknown and uncomfortable. Good conversations include both being heard and listening. They require full presence. We can improve the way we talk. Conversation is a path toward the experience of intimacy and community. It is time to reconnect. A good conversation increases our life force energy and changes our lives by connecting us heart to heart with another person wherever we may be. The time has come to raise our voices beyond modern communication methods. We must reclaim conversation. Digital devices are useful, but we must learn to use them without losing our ability to think deeply and creatively, to relate to one another through authentic conversation, and to feel empathy and connection toward one another. Conversations are powerful. They are forms of communication, usually more spontaneous and less formal. We create new thinking through conversation, build things that are bigger than any one of us alone, create deep connections, become happier. Through conversation, we understand other people, developing the capacity for true empathy. We enter conversations for purposes of pleasant engagement, to meet new people, to find out information, and to enjoy social interactions. As far as types of conversation, they vary anywhere from intellectual conversations and information exchanges to friendly debate and witty banter. How can you start a conversation with anyone? There are just a few pointers, but you can devise your own as you go along. First one, show interest and be curious. Showing interest also encourages the other person to be relaxed and share information more freely. Display attentiveness by keeping good eye contact and listening actively. Secondly, be relaxed. Be yourself. If you do not do your best to relax, you will end up saying something silly, misunderstood, or unrelated to the conversation. Also smile warmly. It will make you appear pleasant and therefore more approachable. Worth noting, if you are trying too hard to be something you're not, you will come across as a fake or a wannabe. Thirdly, be interesting and have something to say. No one can know everything, so if you can enlighten someone during a conversation, you will be a hit. For the same reason, you can learn something new as well. Ensure there's balance of give and take. A conversation can get boring quickly if one person is doing all the talking while the other is trying to get a word in edgewise. When that happens, whoever is not talking begins to tune out and there is no conversation. Conversations, after all, can be mind reading games or just puzzles. We can never be sure of what others will say, what will be their opinions, what can they share about their lives, about their dreams and imaginations, likes and dislikes, and what do we know are really good conversation starters. What conversations are worth having? Beyond smart conversations. Once you get to engage in small talk, you could improve the way you talk and even choose to go beyond smart conversations. What do we need to know about smart conversations? Three C's of high impact and smart conversations. First, clarity. When you see properly what is in front of you, trusting the path, feeling what to do next, get that momentum. Second, conciseness. Be brief, say at once whatever needs to be said, simple, short, and agreeable. Third, credibility. Trust is built on credibility and it is acting on another's interest beside your own. Build your credibility so you not have to say the same thing twice before someone believes it. Let's talk. Stop fabbing. Remove your blindfolds. Look up from your digital devices. Look at one another. Make eye contact and let's talk and start the conversations. Hopefully, down the road, I will have the chance to do face to face conversations with all of you. Thank you for staying and hearing what I have to say about the lost art of communication.